absolutely unbelievable. It's a captain's vlog, I know, on board Trixie, and it's I think this is the Barton Regatta. If I just pan around here, because there's an awful lot of sailing boats on Barton Broad, and this one's just coming round that buoy, and we're heading off down to well, don't know where, but yeah, rather eventful, because I did say we. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, it's Queen Sheila, the bow lady, is once again on the Broads, kicking and screaming. It's the bank holiday weekend, and she's fully in relaxed mode. I've just been to Gate Stave. Notice the co-pilot's phone holder there to match the skipper's, along with the little Garmin GPS for speed, distance travelled, all that good stuff. Guinness on the go for me, coffee for the bow lady. Glorious day, not too humid and hot, just the way I like it. Nice and sunny, nice little cool breeze. And it has been a long time. Do you know what? I tried to do a video about 2 weeks ago now. I was on the boat, and I haven't used Trixie for a good long time. Hope it's alright just looking at the view ahead while I'm talking to you. But yeah, so since last October she's really been out of commission until well, we are August, so I would say sort of July. Everything got sorted out. Basically the heater packed up, and I thought it was the fuel pump for the heater, so I bought a new fuel pump, fitted the fuel pump. That didn't solve the problem. Then I was told it might not be the right fuel pump, because I have a 32-year-old Eberspacher warm air heater. So I looked online, and on eBay someone was selling me a used one for £135, and I thought, even if I spend £135 and that's the right pump and it works, I've still got a 32-year-old heater which draws about 28 amps when it starts up and needs 13.5 volts, so I have to have the engine running for it to start up. So I thought, no, it's time to get a new heater. So I contacted JPC in Brundall, who said yep, they can supply and fit a new Webasto 2kW unit for anything between £2,500 and £2,800. You're having a laugh. Eberspacher, well, that was much the same. That was about 1,800 to 2,250. I wasn't prepared to get a cheap Chinese clone off of Amazon for 150, so I decided to go to Latvia, virtually, and get a planar heater with a 3-year warranty, and that cost me under £500. It cost me 150 quid to have it fitted by Daniel Austrian. He also did some other work on the boat, which brought the bill up a little bit, but professional installation, tried and tested. And can I just say, if you own a boat, he's the guy to go to for all your sort of needs. He can fit an engine, refurbish an interior, put a heater in, you name it. Used to work for Haynes Boats for a number of years. Very good attention to detail, very clean and tidy. So yeah, thought I'd just give him a bit of a shout out. So the reason why I couldn't use the boat is because in the winter time, obviously without a heater, it was too cold. And then when the spring came, I couldn't use the boat because where I'd cut the fuel line to fit the new fuel pump, because new ones fit on with fuel hose, not a hard line copper connection. When I started the engine, fuel would find its way from the fuel isolator and the primary fuel filter out of the fuel pipe which led off to the heater. So that's why I couldn't use the boat. When I did eventually come out on the boat, I bumped into along the river a number of people, 7 gentlemen to be precise, who I talked to, and all ended the conversation with, Robin, when are you going to do another video? And I'm doing another video now. I'm doing this on my phone. I have actually brought with me my original equipment, but it hasn't been used for years. And the battery, you charge it, you put it in at 100%, and it lasts about 15 minutes, and then the camera turns off. So it needs a new battery. But to be honest with you, shooting on the iPhone, it's so much easier. It actually feels archaic. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a piece about the old equipment, but you know, to have a device that you can film and edit and upload to YouTube all in one, you know, just shows you where we've come basically. So here we are, River Rank. We're going through Ersted, and I haven't, you know, we're not going to have all like outside shots going along and all this kind of stuff. Keeping it nice and simple, but it's not in a car, and it is on the rivers, and it is a video. So Sheila,
Yes.
has you've gone off a bit of the boating because you've got really into running, and in fact you've got your first marathon run coming up. You've done half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, and this, you see, she's even got her Brooks running shoes on now, just in case.
I want to run away from you. I can run as fast as I can.
So I know that, you know, there was a period where we were like, you know, all over YouTube, the Bowlady, all the rest of it, and then suddenly I would come on the boat, I would do very occasional videos, you were nowhere to be seen. People started asking, what's happened to Sheila?
Busy.
And also, let's be honest, you went off boating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still off of it. I don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest.
And I think some people might think, well, with this sort of beautiful scenery, how can you know, not like this? Well, let me give you an insight. So when we got independence in Brundall, all of the usual places that you go to on your holidays, like, you know, Potter Heigham and Wroxham and places like this, we just get in the car and drive to. And then you kind of, the sparkle went off these places because it just was like, oh, Latham's, yeah, that pretty shit discount store, you know. Whereas if you're on a holiday, you might think, oh, it's part of the ritual, let's go to Latham's. And so it kind of, the Broads, Ramworth, Wroxham, Horning, these were places that we were just going to for a Sunday roast and drive out to, and, you know, stuff like this. And it's why, I guess, both me and, but especially Sheila, when you're then going boating and you're like, where are we going to go today? And you say, should we go to Ramworth? Alright, what about Horning? You know, it's the same old. And we were actually going to go on a long one-way trip from Stalham all the way to Norwich, drop Sheila off, and then I was going to bring the boat back, but I've got an appointment on Wednesday, so that's just not possible with the tides. Then I thought about this morning getting up and getting underway by about 6 AM to get the 11:30 tide at Yarmouth, and then go to Reedham, and then get the train into maybe Yarmouth, go to the coast, you know, a bit of amusements, ice cream, fish and chips kind of thing. But we didn't fancy going up and leaving at 6 o'clock, and then tomorrow having to return really early all the way back. So instead we're just doing the usual pootling around. The other thing as well with the captain's vlogs is I was doing those increasingly not because I was enjoying the video aspect. I would come on holiday, hire a boat, do a video, and be under pressure without being, it's not like anybody was pressuring me, just that content. I want to make good content. I want to keep these viewers happy. And so instead of just going places for wanting to go places, I was going, oh, let's go to Brundall or Beccles, long distances to film for good content. And then when I stopped doing the captain's vlogs and I'd come out on Trixie, like, as I say, a couple of weeks ago I came down on Trixie, I spent 3 nights and I didn't go further than London Bridge. Now that would make terrible content. Oh, where did you go today? Well, I moored up on a wild mooring on the Ant, And then the next day I went down to How Hill and then back up to Barton Broad, dropped the mud weight and spent the night on Barton Broad. And then on the third day I went from Barton Broad to Sutton Stave. You know, now that might sound really boring, but my goodness, it's just beautiful to just do very little and be very quiet and enjoy the scenery and have no thoughts of, oh, I've got to film this, I've got to do that. So that also explains another aspect. But I must admit, I do miss the creativity. I miss the editing, bringing things together. I can't do the same things now that I did on my phone, and the computer I've got isn't really powerful enough to do, you know, justice to proper, you know, 4K, you know, crystal clear video and stuff like this. But it's something, I guess, is still, the flame is there within me. But yeah, I just guess that, you know, things change in life, your priorities, things that you're passionate about. Me and Sheila have both done an awful lot of travelling over the country, you know, up to the Highlands of Scotland, all sorts of different things going on, doing up the house. So there's been a lot of other things to be interested in than just going boating. So I won't go on any more for now, but I'm sure I will later, because that's the kind of thing I do. But we'll try and capture some more stuff, and maybe, I don't know, I'll get the old Bowlady to take the wheel and I can do some filming elsewhere. But I thought we would just...
That's a bit ambitious, mate.
Is that a bit ambitious?
Oh yeah, I tell you that much right now. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Anyway. So yeah, I think we're going to head for right now, maybe to Womack Water, simply because I've not been there for donkeys and Sheila doesn't even know really where it is.
No.
So
and the map doesn't help me either.
No, the map
Showing me the map doesn't help.
No. So as ever, and I haven't said this for absolutely ages, more as it happens. So the advantage of having the Bowlady along and able to skip her is I get a break, and actually that is so rare on Trixie, to just be able to not concentrate all the time and drive all the time. I sometimes find that the white noise aspect of the engine, that constant tone all the time, it just sort of lulls you to sleep sometimes. So we're on the River Bure, we're coming up to the mouth of the Thurn, and it has been very busy on the River Rant. I've never seen so many day boats from Broads Tours at Wroxham heading up the River Rant. So we've come nice slowly down there. We're now on the 6 mile an hour section of the Bure, and thankfully there's a bit more of a breeze going on. Sheila's doing great, keeping a good course. How's it going for you?
Oh, I was just relaxing.
She was just relaxing, but sometimes the skipper needs a break. Well, not really, he wanted to just do some filming. But Trixie's performing absolutely excellently. Just touch wood there, just to actually literally touch some wood. But yeah, mechanically she's beautiful, and surprisingly very quiet, the engine and the exhaust on this boat. It's got a double muffler, and yeah, 43 horsepower engine in a 24-foot boat, pushes it along nicely. I don't know about you guys, but I do find this quite mesmerising as well. Just the sound of it and the patterns. So unfortunately I'm going to have to go shortly and start driving apparently, because there's yachts ahead. Sheila feels confident, but
You have no faith in me.
we know what this is going to be. This is going to be confidence until the moment when it all falls apart. Quickly you take over.
And also there's people kayaking.
So I just realised you haven't actually seen me yet. So this is me. Hello. Yes, I've got a cut here, and I'm not used to looking into the camera there and stuff, because I keep looking over here. But anyway, yeah, still a bit of a potato. Started off the year really well. Was walking 6-7 miles a day. Got blisters, stopped walking, never got back to doing it again. But I'm going to get back on that. I've felt so much better for it, lost weight. So yeah, that's the plan for the future anyway. So there's people living on board this, well, camping out rather. I've seen them a few times now with their sort of tents and stuff, packing up and then walking off. Been there a number of years, that boat. And of course coming up to the mouth of Thurn Dyke with the Thurn water pump on our starboard side. And I suspect we're going to start to see the new takeovers, especially from Herbert Wood. So if you've just taken over your boat and now you're in the middle of all of this melee of yachts, it's actually quite simple going through. You've got to be ready and just read what the wind's doing, see what the boats are doing, and then just try and pass at their stern. If all else fails and you don't get clear instructions and you're not sure what they're going to do, head towards the bank, blend in with it, stop, and then it's up to them then really.
Should I go faster?
Oh no, you're fine.
They're gonna come for me now.
You're still fine. See, he's not coming for you at all. He's going to pass to our stern. Nice and simple. See, no need to panic.
No, I'm not panicking. I just want to go faster.
She's not panicking, you know, she's talking really fast. Not panicking, honestly.
That's my 2 sailboats done. That was easy. Famous last words.
Oh, it takes me back
What?
9 years ago,
What?
Prince Omega, and just sort of saying, there you go, there's the steering wheel. Never been on a boat before. And that was the old Sheila.
Now.
That was the quiet, innocent, and now we've got the independent, fierce, takes no bullshit Sheila.
No. I've never had any.
Whoa, that's not what you said to me. In my birthday card you said, oh thanks so much for helping guide and make me the woman I am and all this sort
Oh
of stuff.
please.
Oh, yes.
Please. Here we go.
Well, that's an interesting bathtub over there. That's like been really sort of modernised and painted the window frames black.
Just being on the sail, not on the engine thingy.
The one in front?
Oh, that one in there on the side.
No, he's under sail, but you're alright.
I know, but I just want to make sure that it's not on.
And the one in front's under sail as well, no engine.
But they're doing a good job.
Just put a few more revs on. And I'd go to the starboard if that's it, like that. Nice and close to the bank.
Can I go onto the bank instead?
I'd rather not.
I've never experienced
I
that.
like the woman on that yacht there. She's giving them instructions of what to do. Keeping the men in check. No, we can't shout at day boats.
No, you don't have to shout day boats. You just have to shout at, terrible drivers, skippers.
Right.
They don't have to be on a day boat. They can be in any boat. And they went to the back.
Yeah, they're going to lower their mast.
Are they?
Yeah, that's why they got the A-frame out. So not far past that big farm building ahead, we're going to take a left turn. So we decided to take a quick detour instead of going down to Womack Water into Potter Heigham and past one of the most eccentric parts of the Norfolk Broads, Chaletville. And haven't they changed over the years? I remember coming down here in the 90s, they were so simplistic, but they've grown, some have gone, some have been replaced. Almost become now quite trendy to have one of these, or to come and ebb and flow in that one. You wouldn't have seen that, but all LED tape lights spelling out ebb and flow inside. Changi, that's a classic one that's been there for absolutely donkey's years though. Yes, that's a man who's very tan, collecting something. I think what has changed though over the years is the cost of them. I mean, I guess compared to other riverside property, they're relatively cheap. But considering a lot of them are leasehold, albeit on a long lease, but and they're not bricks and mortar. It's certainly a risk to invest into one of these. I mean, look at this one here. I remember when that was all done with the new windows and stuff, but it's looking decidedly tired. And then you have people that have just been there forever. Look at all of that. Bit of an extension going on there, is it? Or just a little bit of a rebuild? Oh, now this is interesting. This boat, this Ideal 45 on the left, this is what was white champagne, which is what I hired all those years back. I think that was for my mum's 70th birthday that we had her, and they've basically painted the red stripe black. Now it's still called white champagne. I do like those boats. They're very impractical in some ways, but the sheer amount of space afforded inside those, quite something. Good to see when someone takes on something like that and improves it. Gosh, look at those hydrangeas. Norfolk Quay heading. There's one boat behind us way off in the distance. I think the fact this is so quiet is because it's 10 to 1 and the outgoing new takeovers from Herbert Woods probably haven't started taking the boats out yet. calm before the storm. It is a shame though that we lost these quiet moorings here on the right hand side, just along here. My understanding is that they couldn't get cover insurance, you know, should something happen, something like that. And so what was once nicely kept moorings, all nice mowed grass, you weren't allowed to run your engine. Now, alas, there's no mooring. Maycraft coming up on the left hand side here with the most ramshackle electric fleet of boats I think anywhere on the Broads. What a lovely business, and I'll probably use them for my forthcoming BSS. Also a great place to hire a very original Hampton 25, this one just here, complete as it would have been, very little modifications made, although they have now got their own logo on the back instead of the Ho Seasons bluebird that was on there for years after Ho Seasons long got rid of that actual logo.
You got a fish, look. You've got a fish.
There's got a fish there apparently. Rosie, nice Bounty 27 there. It would have been once upon a time from Whispering Reeds boatyard at Hickling. And also we're getting a few more of these narrowboats coming in now. No need to worry about bridge heights with those. And ahead of us, Herbert Woods. And that has been a very pleasant little cruise into Bottom. So we ended up at Womack Water. Sheila got an ice cream and a book, and I am an official mug holding member of the big shop at Womack Water. Really lovely little place, lovely ladies that run it, and it is beautifully and quiet here. And we were debating whether we should stay here or try to go to Acle, and I think we're probably going to regret this, because if we go to Acle, probably won't get a mooring. But we want to eat out, and I would rate the bridge in Acle above the King's Arms at Ludden for food. So a couple of spaces here still, but I was admiring this Bermuda 34 here, D309. I wonder what happened to D315. That was the Bermuda that we hired back in 1992 and got under Potthine Bridge. Haven't ever seen it. It's probably off the Broads now. So, time to get underway again. So you join us once again underway. We're on the Bure, halfway between the Thurnemouth and the Acle Bridge Inn. And it's a chance for Trixie to stretch her legs, then a constant 2,000 RPM, travelling over ground at 5.9 miles an hour against the tide. Sheila's shopping for an inflatable kayak. Says the person that doesn't like going boating.
This is an activity boat.
Activity boat.
It's rather fun. Look,
Yeah,
shark.
yeah. So we'll see if we actually get a mooring down here. I think they're actually ahead of us. That might be a bit of rain. It was forecast today, so it will just be our luck that it will start raining just as we arrive and we need to moor up with the canopy all opened up. So we are approaching the 5 mile an hour section into April, and the weather is certainly turning. But, considering Trixie generally puzzles around on the northern rivers at between 12 and 1400 RPM, it's good to give her a bit of a workout. You're going to have to slow down more than that. Got GPS on your left, honey.
I know, I can see. It's much harder to steer when it's lower speed.
Lower speed, yeah, and less water over the rudder. Well, I think we can all ascertain that that ahead is actually rain falling out of the sky. But we can't complain, it's been a lovely day. Taking it pretty easy, really. More cruising than maybe Sheila might want. Came from Barton Broad down to Pot Higham, turned around at Potter, up to Womack, stopped off, popped into the big shop on Womack Stave, and our overnight will be Acle, hopefully. Or if we can get in, it is August bank holiday weekend, and it is very busy. So now I've got to think to myself, yeah, I think we're literally here. Yeah, we're fine. Look at that. All those moorings there, 3 if we have to. Just along there, which are apparently chargeable, but the last 2 times I've moored there, no one's ever come along for payment. We'll have a look at the 24-hour moorings, maybe from the Broads Authority on the Port Bank. But for now, I think what we'll do is concentrate about getting moored up, button this bit of the canopy up just in case it does start to rain, and we got here surprisingly quickly. Well, we did have a minor issue where Sheila didn't turn the tap off properly, which isn't Sheila's fault. The cold valve is really hard and stiff, and that's why I basically don't use the cold side, and it really needs a new tap. But anyway, it then went on this because she'd put this back, flooded all down here, ran off down here, ran off down there. So a bit of a big clean-up operation. Having just filled up water at Womack, are we all right for water? I'm just gonna do a little check down here. Yes, we're still full. Weird place to put the water gauge on a boat. Same with Independence. I get it in the galley because you go and look at it when you're gonna, use the thing. But if you've got stuff there, I'd rather have it on the helm. But that's just me. So Sheila's just learning about the wonders of an old-fashioned carpet sweeper. Yes, I know I should have like some G-Tech RAM cordless vacuum, but they cost a fortune, and that was $10.99 I think, and it does the job good enough until I get back to the mooring and then use the proper domestic hoover on the shore supply.
I need one of this in my life.
And this is the new heating control. I might change that controller for the more advanced digital one, where you can have like a 7-day timer and stuff like this, and that will help fill that space, because the old Eber Special one was basically as big as that. That's the weather station. So it's currently 23.8 in, 52% humidity, and 25 out with 47% humidity. While I'm just talking to you about boats and this all needs replacing. I need a whole new distribution panel, because quite a few of these, thankfully for things I don't use, like the depth log, the TV socket and the toilet pump, have broken. The actual, you know, don't press it because it would just fall through the other side, then have to unscrew the whole thing. And so I'm going to get Brian Ward's to produce a new one of these with the correct interpretation of the boat without the hard top, and then I think I have them etch the name Trixie in and replace the analog voltage gauge for a nice digital one. But if you ever see any of these for sale, these Sheila 740s, I've not seen one. They're all slightly different. Obviously this one's never been in hire fleet, but I've never seen one quite as comprehensive as this. Sometimes that's just a cupboard, but to have the distribution panel, the VHF from new, just small things about it make this a little bit more unique. The way the galley's arranged, so the fridge is actually down here and not in there, and I've never seen one with these sort of storage things with the adjustable seats on before, which is really handy to have those, because on some of them the fridge is there. So what you gain in most of them is an extra bit of storage down here, but then you've got to keep going out, and you think, well, that's only there. But actually when you're cooking, or you think, oh, I want a drink, and it's, you know, you've locked up and you have to unlock the thing, slide it back, open up the fridge, it's just nice to have it down here. And I'm amazed at the efficiencies that get in this fridge, although that wasn't cheap. The smaller they are on a boat, this is a CR50, which I think is the smallest, the more expensive they are. That was about 650 quid. But it's halved my amperage use from the battery bank, because it works properly, whereas the other one, again, original to the boat, 1992, just the insulation has started to go and it's just not efficient. And, you know, it's on as much as it's off kind of thing. You know, it's time to get a new one. Fitted all new sockets on board. There's a new 240 volt socket there that I put in, so now the television can fit into that without having to run an extension down and then round there to that socket. And then I was in B&M and saw that light, and I thought, well, that might make a nice addition, make it a little bit more homely. Another thing that makes this boat unique, I've never seen on any of the other Sheila 740s, is this. I'll try not to, these here slide up and down. Now normally on these, this is all open, but it is nice to have the option. Just try and do this one-handed. See how well I get on. Oh yeah, it did. It's nice to have the option to close that off or have it open plan. I have also never seen another Sheila 740 aft cockpit with a door to separate off. And that's actually quite good to shut that door in the winter time. There's no heating in there, but that your body temperature in that space is it comfortable, basically, because it's all insulated. It's all this thick foam backed insulation. I put some insulation in the front window, both for the winter and the summer. It's basically foam backed stuff you put behind radiators to reflect the heat at home. It does very good at insulating heat from getting in through windows as well. So we are here at Acle, as I said, and that's a, oh, Christ almighty, smashed the place up. That's the view. It is a bit windy, it is a bit choppy, and if you're on any other boat of any substantial size, you wouldn't even notice it. When you're on a 24 foot long by 9 foot 6 boat, my goodness, washed by other boats. You know, if you're on the River Buren 6 mile an hour section, you do honestly have to time when you're using the kettle, because it gets so bouncy. You don't want to be in the middle of pouring out a hot cup of coffee and someone goes past. Which I might add, if you're passing moored boats, not on the 4 mile an hour section, but on a 6 mile an hour section, consider just easing off for all of what, 15-20 seconds that it takes to pass a boat, just to give them a bit more comfort. If anything else, leave aside safety or anything, I always do it. And it's only having a small boat that it really brought it home. If you've got a 40 foot by 12 foot boat and a boat goes by, you just go, whoa, 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 oh, big deal. But on here, everything starts moving. So we are going to go off to the pub, because I bet you they have no tables, but they might have something outside or something, or later or whatever, so we can just have a session. But from here at Acle, with a bit of a moody Sheila, that ends today's blog. And oh, that's something else someone asked me recently. Why do you call it a blog, not a vlog? Very short answer to that, because these videos used to form part of an actual blog that used to reside at norfolkbroadslive.com. So every single episode of every video you've watched on YouTube had a write-up on a blog that I ran, separate to any write-up that was ever put up on a forum. That blog still exists, but I sold the domain, and it's at Blogspot. I think if you try, I don't know, Norfolk Broads .blogspots, Christ knows what it is. Hasn't been updated in years, but that is why they're called blogs, not vlogs. So there we go. I need to do a sort of history of all of this as well, but that can wait for another time, because I think that's the look of a woman that's like, can you just shut up and hurry up and get off the boat and go to the pub?
Who?
You.
Oh no, I'm just waiting to use the loo.
Oh, she's just waiting to use the loo. Using the loo on Trixie should be... No, I mean, the loo's not too bad, but having a shower on Trixie should be some kind of test of sort of, I don't know. It's incredibly small to have a shower in here, and I've got to replace that. I've got a new one. You're not. Why does everything cost so much? But you can't just replace the hose. See the way the hose has gone funny there? Oh, hello. That's a bit windy, isn't it? Yeah, basically, they don't do the hoses because it has that funny connection on it. It's not a usual shower hose connection. It's a Euro connection. It's what you would connect with your kind of under sink taps in your kitchen. Two kind of thin connectors come up. Anyway, whatever. I have to take all that out, get under there, reach up, unbolt that, take it out, put the new one in, and we'll be good to go. So, Sheila needs to use the loo. We need to say goodbye. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow, if you're lucky. If not, we'll enjoy our little break. If you have been, thanks for watching.